working on my blog post for the week. Today I'm filling Etsy orders, one of which is a Bring My Baby oil. And also whenever I can, I like to include a little extra free gift, so I'm including an herbal bath for her. Gotta get this in the mail today. I cannot believe that it is launch day for my website. Sound test, sound test. All right guys, we are live. Just gonna give it a minute for people to join the video. Thank you for joining me in this podcast. I'm constantly trying to make my website, my Facebook page, my Instagram, my Twitter feed, everything be super informative, super helpful, because you guys are awesome and you guys deserve the best. So I'm gonna keep giving my best here. And I'm putting this promo video out to tell you that I have been working on a childbirth class that is online. Hey guys, Abby the Voice. Hey guys, Voices Be Cut. I am about to tell you, it's gonna be so fun. Right now I'm getting to interview with a potential client. She contacted me a couple days ago and we set up this phone conversation time. My daughter's watching Bubble Guppies in the background. Are you Mama's helper? You help Mama shoot the video?
I'm going to see Ellie.
You're gonna go see Ellie? Okay. Just got through interviewing with a potential client over the phone and I noticed that I have phone face. A client just signed on with me. I'm on my way to a first prenatal visit with a client and I'm so excited. Always am whenever it's starting on a new birth journey. What a first prenatal visit usually looks like is I come and I have contracts to sign and go over what their desires are from a doula and how I can meet those desires and all sorts of things and answer any questions that they might have and get any resources into their hands that they might need. And if I don't have those resources on hand at the moment, then I make a note to say, you know, I'll get back to you with this and see what information I can find, encourage them to look on their own as well. And one thing that I've also started doing is I will bring a sample of what I carry in my bag to their birth. So kind of like a preview. If they want to see more in depth in my bag, then we can do that at the second prenatal visit. My rebozo, which I love. It's great for doing different positions and helping mom relax during labor. My tennis balls in a sock. Use these for counter pressure and massage. Here is a fun reflexology tool that I'm bringing as well. It's something that mom can hold on to between contractions or during contractions to distract her and kind of draw her mind away from the pain. Can also be used for massaging, for like gently rubbing or brushing on her skin. A bottle of massage oil. It's with lavender essential oils to help mom relax while she gets massaged. I'm also bringing birth affirmation cards. And that's it. I'm gonna go meet a new client. So day in the life of a doula, I am calculating all of my receipts and balances and stuff from the month of January, and one of the things I also calculate is miles. I drove 272 miles just in prenatal visits since I didn't have a birth last month, so yeah. Today I'm working on paperwork, a lot of paperwork, expenses, income, all that stuff. Making videos for my childbirth class. Welcome to video 1 of our course. This is just one of my reference books for scientific evidence on birth-related topics. My ministry was born when I was 13 years old. My parents are missionaries in Africa. To this day, they still are. And so I grew up as a missionary kid from the time I was 9 till I was almost 19. And when I was about 13 years old, a family that we were connected with in Kenya were expecting their first baby. Now in Kenyan culture, they don't talk a lot about pregnancy. It is considered bad luck, basically, to talk about the baby too much. And so one day, the husband was doing some work for my parents, and after the workday was done, he came to my mom and explained that his wife's water had broken. He didn't know what it was, but he described it to my mom, and my mom realized, oh, her water broke. But there was no contractions or anything. And so my mother said, hey, you need to get me to her right now. We need to get her to the hospital. And so they went and took her to the hospital. Come to find out that through 3 days prior to this, her mother had told her that she was gaining too much weight and the baby would be too big to be born. So she stopped eating for 3 days. What happened next was a long series of things. That there was a C-section, the doctor had just been drinking at a bar and he was not fully aware, and he nicked her bladder while he was doing the C-section, and all sorts of, it's a long, horrible recovery from the loss of this baby for this family. And I remember my mom telling me that when they placed the baby in the coffin, and when they were burying the baby, the extended family of this family wanted the baby to be born facing towards Mecca because that is the Muslim tradition. And the father said, no, this baby is not a Muslim, he is a Christian. And as they were placing the baby in the ground, my mom was just crying. And Arero told her, it's okay, Mama Abby, God is still good. It stirred me on a deep level, and I thought, if she'd just known the truth about how baby growth works, about what water breaking is, if she had just known these things, then her baby's life could have been spared. And it just felt so senseless to me. And so I decided that when I grow up, I want to work with babies somehow. I'm not sure what that is, but I want to work with pregnant, expecting mothers and babies and families and get them the knowledge and information that they need. And I learned about what a doula was, and I thought, what an awesome job that is, to be able to make huge impacts on health just by sharing information. And then once I started, I lit up. My whole world changed. It was like I saw my whole life laid out before me, and it was exactly what I'd always dreamed, and it was exactly what God called me to do. And I've been doing it ever since. And it was about almost 3 years ago that I started feeling the calling to serve low-income families as a doula. And that wasn't a hard decision to make. My heart was already there anyway, because with both of my children, I couldn't afford a doula. I did have a doula with my second, but the only reason I could afford her is because she was a student and she was offering her services for free. We ended up paying her what we could, but if it hadn't been for that, I couldn't have afforded a doula. Sometimes the thing that is needed to save a life is information. I had a woman who was not a client because she lived far away, but she was asking me advice, and I wasn't giving her super specific advice. Most of my advice was teaching her how to get informed consent on her own, since she wouldn't have a doula beside her because she couldn't afford one. And she told me afterwards, after her baby was born, that her doctor had admitted that he had not read her chart thoroughly when he was offering suggestions. And it just blew me away, like this is something that could save lives, and some people can't afford it. It could save lives, and some people don't even know what a doula is. Feeling that familiar passion, that fire, it keeps me going on the hard days, y'all. Because there's just no reason that this service shouldn't be available to everybody. It's not a sacrifice. Being a witness to what these amazing families go through and being able to share their journeys is unbelievable. I remember the first time that a client paid me the full amount at the birth. And we had just a couple days before a piece on the car broke. It was exactly the amount I needed to pay for that part on the car. God is just the best coworker, and he has these amazing ways of keeping me encouraged and keeping me focused and keeping me financially secure. Now, I'm only one doula. It's weird because I don't want to ever have to be to the point of turning people away, but I want to get to the point where I have to turn people away because I'm helping as many people as I physically can. And I have lots of ideas and dreams on how to help people when I get to that point, when I get to the point where I have to turn people away. I'm going to create a scholarship. I'm going to create probably a nonprofit funding for people to get doula care, to pay towards other doula services. I want to see if I can get other doulas to donate a birth a year or something to help out with low-income families. I have all of these dreams and ideas.
There's a copy of our birth plan on my desk. Call the doula.
Copy that. I will call the doula.
which is a thing, but I definitely know what it is.
A doula is someone who supports you emotionally, physically, and coaches you through the process.
Oh, I see. So sort of like a vaginal Gandalf.
Oh, that's actually a pretty good analogy.
So I'm gonna go get your birth time and then summon your wizard.
Alright, so it is a little after 1 a.m. and somebody's in labor, so let's go meet a baby. I have my energy drink, all my bags are packed, ready to get to the hospital. Now an hour drive to Dallas. When birth is so full of uncertainty, I am a certainty. Support the clients at home. Mom is doing so good. Supported a mama early morning for a little while, trying to help her get this prodromal labor into active labor, and it's gonna be a little bit longer, so came home and I'm gonna take a nap and head back later when things are a little bit more active. Client's water broke this afternoon, so she's hoping that contractions and labor will start soon, so I am taking my kids and trying to wear them out a little bit before I get called in. I know that when you feel like you're at your weakest, you're actually at your strongest. I know you beyond what's written down on a paper. I'm the knowledge behind your partner's hands, guiding. When you feel like you can't give any more. I'm holding your hand. When it's time to push, I cry with you. Every loss, every sacrifice that built up to this moment. Tell me about it. Recovering after a birth. Some births take a greater toll than others. Sometimes I'll have a long birth, but there's lots of energy and excitement in it, and everything's just going so well that I leave from it feeling energized and rejuvenated. And then sometimes you have a short birth that for some reason was emotionally draining, or maybe the birth is like going traumatically or something, and that just drains me unbelievably. So the length of the birth doesn't necessarily equal the amount of recovery time afterwards, but no matter what, there is always some physical recovery, you know, like
being up for 8 to 20 hours or however long doing hip squeezes and counter pressure, all that stuff. So physically, sometimes I'll feel sore, sometimes I'll feel tired. This morning I slept in until 10, this is the first time I've slept until 10 in a long time. And thank God for my amazing husband who gave me the space I need to recover. But yeah, so recovery.
When I was choosing my name, Voices of Eve, there were several elements that came into play. Eve brings back to the roots of my Christian faith, and also she was the first woman, and she was her own doula and her own midwife, and her instincts was all she had to rely on. She'd never witnessed a birth or heard about birth or read a birth blog. She had to rely on her innate knowledge that God created her body to do this, and she can do it. Having her name in my ministry name calls back to that the only thing that is required for birth is the mother and the baby. That's it. The Voices comes from the fact that we are all created just like Eve. Her voice has been rippling over thousands of years. Bits of advice carried on from mother to daughter to mother to daughter. Things that are deep within us that have been passed down. That is the voices of our ancestors carrying us through these difficult journeys of pregnancy, labor, birth, parenting, grandparenting. And it is also a calling out to the fact that we are not voiceless as laboring mothers. We have a voice, and it has the right and deserves the dignity of being heard. And that right does not change or become bigger or smaller based on how much money you make. And so that is my mission, to make sure that your voice and the voices of your ancestors are heard, and that your voice of your children will be heard even louder. I am a bridge between healthcare and community care. Contractions were 2 minutes apart. I decided it was time to come to the hospital, and they had called ahead before I even came to support them in the hospital they're delivering at are not allowing doulas. And I called and was also given the same message. I was persistent and pushed through to talk to a supervisor. I'm waiting to hear back. And I'm just praying real hard that they're gonna let me in. It's really hard to sit by and not be allowed to support your clients to the best of your ability. And it needs to stop. There have been many birth spaces that have not allowed doulas. Many of these places believe they are making this choice for their patients to keep them safe. I understand that many of the people involved in making this decision do not truly understand the support that a doula gives. And it has been my dedication since to help spread awareness about what doulas do and why we are vital to our families and our communities. Because ultimately, we serve in ways that many other places can't. We reach families on a deeper level that many other services just don't. And this is not because those services are not also essential and valuable. Doulas do not replace other services. We are a unique and separate service that adds to families' well-being and health. I have a whole binder of COVID-19 resources from the WHO, the CDC, the AWHONN that show that doula care is essential, that doula care improves health for families and lowers their risks for a host of things. It improves their breastfeeding rates, raises APGAR scores, reduces C-section rates. All of these things would be way more dangerous to have to go through during an outbreak, during a pandemic. I'm just praying that hospitals come to realize that they're not listening to reputable sources for making these policies. Even on the hard days when I'm just, struggling with, how do I keep doing this? How do I carry on? He always steps in and he always gives me exactly what I need, and I wouldn't change a single thing. No. All right, guys, so as of today, as of just 2 minutes ago, I've officially sent 50 emails out to 50 different celebrities and influencers. I care so much about this, guys. I'm ready to see a breakthrough, and I'm praising God already for the breakthrough that is coming. Whether it's through this or some other action by some other person, it is coming. We're gonna see doulas back in the doors. We're going to see doulas being exactly where they need to be, supporting the people who need us the most. I want you to be able to stand with me and say, look what we did. Look what we did. We did it. I did it. Blah, blah. So what is labor exactly? Now, when your baby is inside, and so, you know, you may tense up when you're being checked, when your cervix is being checked, blah, blah. And so, the body has to get a lot of that amniotic fluid out. Blah. And that's perfectly fine. Sometimes, so right at the crest of the butt crack. So now, yeah. I'm always afraid I'm gonna pop it. Is that you and your body's baby, is that your baby's, the skulls and blah. And that's basically it.